There are many ways that you can bring information into a team channel. The plus sign to add an app or a document to be pinned within that channel. We can also work with bots to maybe have a Poly survey or a SurveyMonkey survey or something else within the conversation of this channel. The third is working with a connector to bring in external information into the channel conversation. Next to the name of the team, which is events, you'll see the name of the channel here at the top. Just to the right of that channel name is the More Options menu. That's the three ellipses. By selecting this, you get the menu. We're going to go ahead and look for connectors. It's about halfway down the list. And by selecting this, you will be presented with a menu that will show you all of the connectors that you can work with in this channel. Notice at the top it's set to all, and over here to the right, it's being sorted by popularity. The other choice for sorting is by name. We're going to leave it to popularity for now. All the way to the left is where you can also see that the category is set to all. If you work in a specific industry or you work with certain types of information like analytics, by selecting one of these, you can see the connectors that are made available here for your use. Let's take a peek at HR as well. You can see the couple of connectors available here. The ones that we're going to work with, we're going to find at the top of the all listing. We're going to try out Bing News, and we're also going to set up an RSS feed. Bing News has a blue button over here to the right that says Configure. You'll notice that Microsoft Forms says the same thing, but some of these other connectors say Add. So if they've not already been set up within a channel or the associated team, they will say Add, and you will need to add that connector before you can make the configurations. Since Bing News is already set up, we'll go ahead and select Configure, and then fill out the appropriate fields. These two fields are required. The first one is what we want to call this connector. We're going to call this Hospitality News. For the topics, it can be one topic or multiple topics. This is the criteria that is going to be used to search for matching results through Bing News and then present these within the conversation of the channel at the specified time that you would like this to happen. For this, let's go ahead and say that we'd like to look for Orlando, Florida hotels. And we'd also like to look for Orlando, Florida tourism. Now that we have these two topics selected, let's move down to when we want this delivered each day. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 10 a.m. All right, now that we're done setting this up, select Save in the lower left corner, and it is creating the connection. Notice underneath Bing News in this configured area, we can see one configured. By selecting this, we're able to see the Hospitality News connector, who it was added by, and a way to manage this. Manage lets you change the parameters, change the name of the digest, the topics that are selected, or the time that the digest should be delivered. As well, you can save those changes, or at any time if you'd like to delete this connection, you would select Remove. Let's cancel for now. Let's close out of this menu by selecting the X in the upper right corner. And now we're back in the Conversations tab of the channel that we were in when we set up this connection. That's the Florida Fall Conference channel. And if you take a look here, here's something that's been auto-posted on Heather Fremont's behalf, showing the Bing News connection that was just set up, along with the topics that it is going to be displaying. Now at 10 a.m. tomorrow, it will automatically post a new conversation here with any news that is relevant to the topics that we have associated. That's one connection. Now let's go back and let's take a look at how we can work with RSS feeds. So we'll go back up here to the three ellipses. We'll select connectors. From the all list, we're going to select add next to RSS because we need to add this connector. And this is what it looks like when you need to add a connector. You have information about who this connector was built by, what version it is, a way for you to view the privacy and permissions terms of use before you accept this and install it. And then in the lower right corner, select Install to set up the RSS feed connector within this team channel. Okay, now we are ready to configure this. Again, we can see the fields that are required here. We need to enter a name for this. We're going to call this Weather Watch. The address for the RSS feed is something that you can copy from any public RSS feeds that you can find on the internet. We're going to go over and take a look at something that I already have up on a page that we're going to copy to paste into here. Okay, here we are looking at the National Hurricane Center and Central Pacific Hurricane Center. We'd like to follow what the weather is doing for this conference that is happening in the fall. If we scroll down the list, we can see a list of all of the current RSS feeds. The one that we'd like to use is this Tropical Cyclone Atlantic Wallet 1. So while this is selected, we're just going to copy that link. Now we're going to go back over to Teams and paste it into that field. Okay, here we are. We're back at the address field. Let's go ahead and press Control V to paste that in. The digest frequency. How often do you want it to post updates from this RSS feed within the channel conversation? For now, because it's so early before we have this conference coming up, I'm just going to set this to daily. But as we get closer to the event, I may come back in and change this configuration to tell me every 6 hours if there is something going on with the weather. All right, select Save in the lower left corner. It's creating that RSS feed. We can now see just below our RSS feed the one that has been configured and a way to manage that just like we did for Bing News earlier. We'll go ahead and select the X to close out of this. And we can see that we have a couple of updates. Here's a conversation titled RSS that's just letting everyone know a new RSS feed has been set up, who it was set up by, what it's about. And we have our first post that says there are no current storms in the Atlantic Wallet 1. This is a link. If we go ahead and select this, it will take us out to the page where we can see a visual map and if there's any activity. And that is how you can work with connectors to bring in external content to your conversation.